So Star Wars Hunters is only just around the corner, guys, and because I've been playing it for well over 2 years now, I've definitely learned plenty of little tips and tricks in my time with the game. So today I'm going to be giving you guys some of the more important and basic tips you need to know before the game launches. Now, I will likely do a more sort of intermediate version of this a few weeks after launch too, talking about some more advanced tips once you guys have been playing for a few weeks. And there's going to be everything on the channel from stuff like hunter guides and all that sort of thing. There is going to be plenty of guide content on the way, so keep your eyes peeled for all of that, guys. And if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that content. Now, getting into the first tip, this one is very basic, but this is that you guys should be making sure to play the role of your hunter. For those who weren't aware, each hunter is defined into 3 different roles, those being the damage hunters, the support hunters, and the tank hunters. And so over the first few weeks of launch, maybe even the first month, it is really crucial that you guys learn the role of each hunter and essentially learn how to play them. Not every single hunter can just run around and get a heap of kills. If you're playing as, for example, Zaina or maybe Groz, these hunters are not necessarily as good at getting kills as the likes of maybe Reeve or Diago. And it does require you to kind of change up your playstyle a little bit in order to accommodate for that, because if you run around as Zaina, for example, who is a support hunter, and she is probably the least deadly of those support hunters, if you run around trying to just get kills and you're not playing that more support role, you're not going to do very well. Not only are you not going to get many kills, but you're not really going to help your teammates either. And at that point, there is realistically no reason to even play Zaina if that's how you're going to play. So obviously it will take some time to learn all of those roles, but it is crucial to learn the role of your hunter and make sure that you're playing that when you are in game, because that will go a long way towards winning more matches. Now, something else very important, which initially is going to sound exactly the same as what I just said for the last tip. This tip is to learn the ins and outs of each hunter. Now, that does sound identical to what I just said, but I mean this in essentially the opposite way, in that you should learn the ins and outs of each hunter so that you know what your enemies are going to do, and therefore you can kind of read what's going to happen and stay ahead of the curve. Now, what I mean by this is that, for example, every single hunter has some sort of giveaway when they're about to use their ultimate, or even just regular abilities too. One good example I like to use of this is that when Amara Vex is about to use her ultimate, which is probably one of the more deadly ultimates in the entire game, she will begin to kneel down on the ground, and it doesn't really look like she's doing anything if you haven't played the game before. But me, as I guess more of a veteran of the game, if I see Amara Vex kneeling down, I know to get the absolute hell out of that area. And so that's what I mean when I say learn the ins and outs of each hunter, because noticing little things like that can be the difference between life or death, and it will give you a big advantage over those who don't really know all of those little giveaways. Now, like I said with Amara, when she uses her ultimate, she will begin to kneel down, but different hunters have different giveaways. A lot of them actually will just have different voice lines that they'll say. So if you hear a hunter say a certain thing in the background, then even that can be a giveaway that they're about to use a certain ability or their ultimate or something like that. And so it is definitely very important to just get your hands on with most hunters, kind of pay attention to what they do when they use their ultimate, and that will help you guys a lot at pretty much avoiding dying to those very same ultimates. Something else very important, and especially early on when you guys haven't played very much of Star Wars Hunters, is learning where the health and the ult pickups are on each map, because these are absolutely crucial to not only staying alive, but also winning games in certain situations. For those who don't know what I mean, every map has got multiple different health and ult pickups. They are the green or purple floating sort of icons that are scattered throughout the map. And obviously when you run over a green one, that will give you health. When you run over an ult pickup, that will give you a slight boost towards charging your ultimate. And like I said, these are absolutely crucial. Now, if you don't know where they are and all of the enemies are picking up all the ultimates, they are going to be able to use their ultimate abilities way more often than you. And realistically, the team who uses the most ultimate abilities in a really tight match, that can simply just be the difference between winning and losing. Most ultimates in this game have the potential to either completely change the course of a game, or pretty much worst case scenario, get an entire team wipe. So the ultimates are very important in this game, and the same thing goes for the health. Obviously, you need health to stay alive, so learn where those pickups are as fast as you can. That will be crucial to winning games. Now, I touched on the hunters and the roles that they play in terms of being damage, support, or tank, and one more tip I'll give on that is that you should always try and balance your team out. Now, obviously that's not all in your hands. You can only pick one hunter, and it's kind of just completely random what your other 3 teammates pick unless you are playing with friends. But if you see, for example, that your team currently has no no support hunter and the game is about to start, then it is definitely worth trying to balance that team out by just picking a support hunter, even if that's not your best role. Generally speaking, each team will kind of need to have one support hunter, one tank hunter, and probably 1 to 2 damage hunters. That isn't an absolute requirement to win, but generally speaking, the way that this game is balanced, that is probably going to be the best meta when it comes to the team composition. So yeah, always try and balance your team out. Sometimes you might need to sort of bite the bullet and play a role that you don't normally play, but that can still be better than if you just picked your favorite hunter and that leaves your team without a support hunter. Now, before we go any further, guys, I'm excited to announce that over on the Patreon, I'm going to be giving away 3 premium arena passes for Star Wars Hunters for the launch of the game, as well as 3 arena passes every single season moving forward. The premium arena pass gives you 80 awesome tiers of unlocks you can get throughout the game. And as you can see by the final tier in the soft launch arena pass, some of these skins are absolutely awesome. Now, like I said, the giveaway will be over on the Patreon. There is a link to that down in the description. You can join up for free, so don't worry, it's not just for paid members. Free members will also get a guaranteed entry into the giveaway, but paid members will actually be getting 5 entries into all giveaways moving forward, obviously meaning it is 5 times the chance that you guys win. On top of that, there are some awesome rewards over there as well, like early access to videos, monthly updates on the content you can expect to see on the channel, and even access to the private Discord as well. So be sure to go and check it out. The link is down in the description, like I said. But with that being said, let's get stuck back into the video. Now, earlier I touched on the ultimate pickups, and this is another tip to do with your ultimates, in that you don't want to be just using ultimates whenever you sort of can. You want to almost save these for the more crucial moments. So when you really need to take an objective, for example, or even just defending an objective, you don't want to be just using your ultimate on one enemy, unless in that specific situation, that is the difference between you winning and losing the game. So again, this will come with just plenty of playtime, knowing when those crucial moments are. But for me, I always tend to think that saving your ultimate is definitely better than just spending it. There's going to be a moment throughout the game when you just know that that is the time to use your ultimate. And like I said, that can often turn the tide of a game, whether that is completely saving your team if you're a support hunter, or in some cases you can just get a legitimate team wipe and kill every single enemy on the other team, allowing you and your team to pretty much go on and win the game. Now, the next tip is actually to constantly be checking the events tab as well as your daily and weekly challenges. This is something that I think a lot of people aren't really going to do, and so a lot of people will just be going out there and just playing the game and having fun, which, don't get me wrong, that is a great way to play the game too. But if you want to be gaining more XP, more skins and stuff like that, it is good to at least know what challenges there are that can unlock some skins for you, as well as stuff like XP, and then just kind of having that in the back of your mind while you're playing games. For example, there might be one that says get 25 kills as Reeve. Maybe you don't normally play as Reeve, but that has a cool skin attached to it, so knowing that, you can now just go and play a few games as Reeve, get that challenge done, and you're going to gain way more XP, skins, and just general items by doing it that way rather than just playing with no goal in mind. Now, the next tip is actually very simple, and this is to try and just legitimately do your daily login every single day if you possibly can, even if you're not even going to play the game. This is where it's actually really handy that this game is a mobile game. Even if you're playing it on the Switch, I would actually recommend just downloading the game on your phone as well. And that means even if you're away on a holiday or something, or you're at work, you can just log into the game, get your daily login. That is going to give you even more rewards without even needing to play the game, and it literally takes about 10 seconds to do so. So try and get in the hang of that. The more you log into the game, the more rewards you'll get, and like I said, you don't really have to do anything to actually get those rewards. Now, another tip that I've got is to do with the ranked mode, and this is essentially that I could not recommend playing ranked any more than I currently do. Not only is it going to help you guys get better, because you are going to be playing against a more even playing field where you are probably going to be playing harder players. It is going to be a little bit sweatier and stuff like that, but I think early on that is going to really help a lot of people. If everyone's just playing against absolute bots in the casual mode while you're in there playing ranked, and in the first month you're just grinding away and sort of being thrown in the deep end, well, yes, initially that might feel a little bit more difficult, but 1 month, maybe 3 months after launch, the chances are you are probably going to be better than everyone who has just been playing the casual mode. And on top of that, you do get some really, really awesome rewards for playing ranked too, which can only be unlocked by playing ranked. So I'm not necessarily saying you have to only play ranked. I think it is good to actually balance it out a fair bit. But I think if you completely neglect ranked, not only are you missing some awesome rewards, but on top of that, I do think you will actually progress a little bit slower than those who are playing ranked and getting into those more sweaty lobbies. Now, the next tip is a very, very very simple one, and realistically I shouldn't even need to say this, but this is to play with your teammates. I think a lot of people in multiplayer shooters, and how I'm guilty of this sometimes too, we often jump in and we just play by ourselves. We're just literally running around doing whatever we want, and we're not really paying attention to what our teammates are doing. And in a game like this, that is going to result in a lot of losses, which not only is less fun, but on top of that, you will gain less XP, you'll gain less rewards for getting less wins. And simply just playing with your teammates, trying to support them if you're a support hunter, trying to save them from death if you're a damage hunter and stuff like that, and just generally sticking with teammates, that is really going to help you guys, especially early on in the game. If you're playing with a bunch of teammates, even if they're complete randoms, but you're just sticking together, you're up against a team of players who are just running around doing their own thing, you are almost guaranteed to win those sorts of games. And so this is something you guys should not be sleeping on. Again, it shouldn't really need to be said, but it is a pretty common thing in any multiplayer shooter. Now, the last tip for today's video is actually kind of in the same line as the previous one, and this is that you should squad up with your friends, because you actually get a 10% XP boost when you do so. Early on in the game, obviously getting more XP and grinding those ranks faster is going to be crucial to unlocking everything you need in terms of cool skins and stuff like that, getting the slight upgrades on each hunter. And this even just ties in with the previous point that I made, that obviously playing with your own friends, you are way more likely to stick together and actually have some sort of game plan. So not only are you getting the 10% XP boost from just literally playing with your friends, but on top of that, you're going to probably play with your teammates as well. You're going to be more likely to win games, and because you will probably be dominating games, you will also probably gain more XP. Because of that, you're probably going to get more kills, you're going to be healing teammates more and stuff like that. And so technically you'll get actually more than a 10% XP boost, because you're going to get more XP simply just playing with friends anyway. So those are 10 tips you guys should be taking on board for the launch of Star Wars Hunters. Like I said, I will be back soon with a more advanced version of this video. And on top of that, like I mentioned, I'm going to be doing hunter guides and pretty much guides on everything you could possibly need to know, as well as plenty of news updates and stuff like that. There is going to be a lot of fun content on this channel focused on all things Star Wars Hunters. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.